Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with a super exciting video, one of my most loved videos on my channel, and I'm here to show you guys 30 plus new books that I got. I actually don't know if it's 30 or less or more, so I'm gonna count. 31. I have 31 new books right here. I know that's a lot of books, and if you saw my other book hauls, I have an addiction, a book shopping addiction, and that is because one, I lack the self-control, and two, I don't know, I just black out really when I'm buying these books. But this is where I need to cut myself off for the year. I made a promise to myself that I'd only buy books if I'm gonna read them like right away, or if it's a new release that I've been anticipating all year. That was a New Year goal, but I broke it, and here we are. But now I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that because one, it will save my bank account. Two, it's gonna help me slowly chip away at my physical TBR because I have enough books to last me essentially a lifetime. I know that's like a ambitious or unrealistic goal for me, but we're gonna try and stick to it. I may or may not break it, but it's a good thing to have in the back of my head because I have so much books. So let's go through more ones that I bought recently. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I think this is a book haul that is probably my favorite out of all the other ones I've done. So let's get started. I know it doesn't look much. I arranged them as best as I can by genre, so we're gonna go through it genre by genre. I'll try my best. Let's start with a series. This first one, my favorite, might be my favorite purchase, book-related purchase of all time. It's long overdue. I don't know why I just did it now. I do want to say I have read these books in the past, but I don't own a copy, and it is probably my top series of all time. And that is the whole Twilight Saga. Saga. I'm so excited. I read these when I was like 12 or 13, and I borrowed them from the school library, so like I didn't own a copy at all, and now these are my own copies. I plan to like annotate them and stuff like that, write little thoughts I have, and I'm just gonna cherish it forever. Do you guys see that there are new editions coming out for the 20th anniversary of Twilight? I lost my mind. I'll put it on the screen, the different types of special editions that are coming out, and I want to get it all. Anyways, these are the books. I got like the basic covers, and I've read the 4 main books, which are Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. I read these like 9 or 10 years ago by now, I think. That is so long ago. And then there is like 3 extra books that I haven't read or picked up at all. The first one is Midnight Sun, which recently came out, I think in like 2020 or 2021, which is like pretty recent. Let me check. It was published in 2020. I didn't even know. Anyways, this book is basically Edward's point of view of the first book, I think, Twilight. And the comparison is big, so probably had a lot of thoughts. Also, I forgot to mention, if you don't know what this series is about, I don't know what to tell you, because like I feel like this series has been out for so long. If you haven't watched the movies or read the book, you should. You're missing out. The second book I haven't read is The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. It's a novella apparently. And then the third and last one is Life and Death. I don't actually know what this is, but I think it's about 2 characters named Beaufort Swan and Edith Cullen. So I guess it's their love story. I don't know. They're different characters. I have not met them. This next series I got, I didn't get all the books just because all the books weren't available in paperback, and I love paperback, and I also didn't want to splurge too much just in case I don't like it. But I did end up getting the first 2 books in the series, and that is Lark by Alex Astor. I've seen this book everywhere: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and everyone raves about it. I also see TikToks by the author, which is cool. All I know about this is what's in the back. It says, every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for 100 days to host a deadly game, where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler must die. That's all I know. And I heard it was like romance heavy. I love that. I love a good romantasy, and that the last page is essentially a cliffhanger. And the same as this is the second book called Nightbane. The next series I also don't know much about. A subscriber actually recommended to me in the comments of my previous book haul video, which is this video. And in that video I got a book called Throne of the Fallen, and apparently there's a series before that. Like, you don't have to read it, but it does help because there's a little bit of a crossover, I believe. So I got the whole series. I know, not a smart idea. I got all 3 books of the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I read the first, like, I read the back, that's all I know, and it seems pretty interesting, so I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just grab all 3 because I feel like I'll end up liking the first one. Ultimately, I'll have to go to the bookstore to get the second and third book, so I'm just gonna save myself a trip. This is the first book, Kingdom of the Wicked. It says 2 sisters, 1 brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. Another romantasy. I love me a good romantasy. Essentially, this book follows Amelia, our female main character, and she has a twin sister. They are essentially witches who live secretly among humans. And one night, Victoria, the twin sister, ends up missing a dinner. Amelia goes to go investigate, and she ends up finding her body. It says, devastated, Amelia sets out to find her sister's killer and to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic that has been long forbidden. Then she comes across Wrath, who is one of the wicked, it says in the back, who are princes of hell, and apparently he's claiming that he's on Amelia's side because he was asked or tasked by his master to solve these murders, because apparently there was more than 1 murders of women on the island. The second book is Kingdom of the Cursed. I think it still follows Amelia, it says in the back. And then the last book is Kingdom of the Feared, and it still follows Amelia. This is my last series, I believe, unless there's some more that I don't know about. But this book series I'm also super excited about. You're gonna hear me say that I'm super excited about every book, just putting that out there. Anyways, the next series I got is the Assistant to the Villain series. I think there's only 2 books out. I don't know if this is like an ongoing series, I'm not sure. It's not a complete series because the 3rd book, Accomplice to the Villain, is coming out August 7th of this year, and then there's a 4th book. So I don't know how many books she's planned for this series, but I got the first 2, and essentially I heard this is like a fantasy, but it's also a comedy with a subplot of romance. It's just like a fun, not overly serious, high stakes fantasy, and I haven't read a fantasy comedy before. From what I know from the back is that this book follows Evie, who's our female main character. She has no job and she's desperate to have one, and by some mishap she ends up getting an offer to be assistant to Renadon's most infamous villain, and she accepts. And apparently she has a teeny crush on this terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. And I heard a lot about this frog, or this frog in the back. Apparently he doesn't talk and he holds up signs and can only, obviously, what am I thinking? A frog can't talk. But it's also a fantasy, so like anything's possible. Anyways, he holds up signs and says 1 word at a time. That just seems so fun to me. And I also got the second one, Apprentice to the Villain, and it's like cute sprayed edge. So if I like this, I might get the next book that's coming out soon. The next book is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. I've heard so much about this. It was a staff pick by Jess. Thank you. I'm gonna take the sticker off because I can't stand the stickers. I like how these stickers like come off easily. Anyways, this book I heard is like a time travel romance, but we're mainly focusing on the main character, so it makes it kind of a literary fiction. What's even her name? It's literally the title. Our female main character is named June. She was raised by her grandmother, but then her grandmother passes away and she sees all kinds of like hallucinations and like memories that aren't hers. And then she finds this letter from her grandmother that says, if you see a red door, go through it. And she thought it was like all a hallucination because she's seen that red door before, but then she goes through the red door and travels back in time, like a different century. So that's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited to read this as well. The next book, also a fantasy, or I think it's a fantasy, I don't know. That is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This book is about a world-renowned author. It says he like quit writing, but then he suddenly resurfaces with a brand new book and like a one-of-a-kind competition, offering a prize that will change the winner's life. So essentially he invites, I think, 4 lucky contestants to compete, and the competition takes place at his home on an island. Sounds intriguing. The next book I already have, but I saw this at Costco and it was on sale for like $12. I hated that it didn't match the rest of the series. It was shorter than the other books in the series, and that is Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is the novella in between Powerless and Reckless. It's also sprayed edges, and I loved this little novella, so now I could just add this onto my shelf and not have to look at the size difference in the books. I've also heard a lot about this book and people raving about it, so I decided to pick it up, and that is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. But apparently this is enemies to lovers. It literally says the first words on there is enemies to lovers. That sold me, and it's about a witch and a witch hunter falling in love. Like that's all I needed to know. I'm gonna buy it. And for some reason I love the font in this. It's so big and the book is so small. It's like a size of a paperback, but it's a hardback. Wow. And I heard the second book is coming out soon. Not sure. Her deadliest enemy or her greatest love. I think those are all my fantasy books. We're gonna move on. I don't want to tackle that pile first. I want to finish this pile. And the next few books are romance. I didn't get a lot of romance. I noticed that it's mostly fantasy books that I got just because I'm in a fantasy mood. It's winter, there's snow outside, and I love reading fantasy during the colder months of the year. And I also like have so much romance books, like over 50% of my book collection is romance, and so I decided only to get a few. The first one, which is what I'm most excited about out of these 3, is the new Ali Hazelwood book. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing and her books in general. This one looks spicy. Definitely spicy. Yeah. And it's sprayed edge. It was so pretty. I could not pass it up. Apparently this is a competitive diver and an ace swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance. It also has like water droplets. I thought I got like water on it, so I started like drying it, but that's the effect. The next 3 books that I got were part of like a sale they had going on in store, and it was like buy 3 for $10, and I was like, what? I cannot pass that up. So I got these 3 books. The first book is Natalie Tan's Book of Luck and Fortune by Roselle Lim. I have not heard of this author. I just picked it up because the cover looked pretty. And it's like a magic realism type of book, and it surrounds food, heritage, and finding family in the most unexpected places. I like also opened it up and found like recipes. Like this one is a recipe for noodle soup, and that just like sounds fun. I don't have a book like that, so that's that. The next book is Coming Home to Seashell Harbor by Miranda Liaison, and I also haven't heard of this author, haven't heard of this book, but it just looks so summery. It's almost summer, so I decided to pick this up. And apparently this is a childhood friends to lovers second chance romance. And when I saw that, I was like, yes, I'm picking that up, because one of my favorite books, Love in Other Words and Every Summer After, they're both childhood friends to lovers second chance romance. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna eat this up. And it's the summer aesthetic. Super excited about that. I was actually surprised that this book was actually in the 3 for $10 section. That is Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. Christina Lauren is one of my favorite authors, or they are one of my favorite authors because there's 2 of them. But I have not heard about this. Well, I've heard about this book, I just don't know what it's about. And I'm gonna keep it that way because sometimes I like going into books blind. Okay, I had to replace the battery in my camera because it died, but we are now going through this last pile. I went through these 2 piles, and this pile consists of mostly literary fiction, which I fell in love with during like the end of last year. So let's get into it. The first book that I got is a popular book. I think it's been around for a while, and that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I have not read a book by this author, but I've heard so much good things. I don't know what this book is about, and I'm planning to go into it blind, but it says it's set in a magical island. There's a dangerous task and a burning secret. I think it's a literary fiction with magic realism, I think. The next book that I got went viral in like 2023, I believe, and that is Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang, and essentially it's about two authors named June and Athena. They were supposed to be twin rising stars, but Athena's a literary darling and June is literally nobody. So Athena's famous, June is not, and it says one day June witnesses Athena's tragic death and she ends up stealing her manuscript about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers during World War I. And the thing about that is Athena is an Asian American and June is not. Apparently she ends up editing Athena's novel and sends it to her agent and it becomes a hit. But some things arise that threatens her stolen fame or success, and it says that she will do anything to protect this secret. The next book is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. First of all, this book looks like a children's book just because of like the bright colors, and there's an octopus. One of the main characters in this book is the octopus. His name is Marcellus. Apparently he becomes like acquainted or close to this elderly woman who works in the aquarium and cleans, and that woman is named Tova Sullivan, and apparently her son mysteriously disappeared on a boat 30 years ago, and Marcellus the octopus apparently is some kind of a detective in this book to find out what happened the night Tova's son disappeared and find out the truth for her before it's too late. A detective octopus? That's a unique storyline. The next book is a book I've been like wanting to read more books by this author because I absolutely loved the last book I read by her, and that is The Great Alone by Christine Hanna. I don't actually know what it's about. It's about a family and they live in Alaska in 1974. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't know what this book is about. I want to go into it blind. I feel like I'm running out of things to say about books. I'm just tired. I've been filming for quite a while. Anyways, that's the book. Let's go into the next one. Oh god. The next book is very out of my comfort zone. I have not read a book like this in my whole life, but you know me, I get easily influenced by people on the internet talking about this, and the next book I got is a self-help book, and that is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I know. I never thought I'd pick up a self-help book. I've heard good things, and I feel like this is good for me. I feel like I'm such a people pleaser, and this one, like what it says in the name, just let them. Let them. Don't focus too much energy on things that you can't control and focus them on things that you can. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough for me. Okay, we have 4 books left. Next one is The Woman by Christine Hanna. I forgot I got another Christine Hanna book, but this is the recent book that came out, I think, the end of last year. I also don't know what this one is about, but one of the things that actually caught my attention while I was like book shopping is that this one is about a 20-year-old nursing student named Frankie, and I was once a 20-year-old nursing student 2 years ago. That's all I had to read, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna buy it because I love Christine Hanna's writing and her stories and her ability to make me cry, and she opened my eyes and my heart to love historical fiction. The third last book that I have for this book haul is The Wedding People. This is a literary fiction that I heard so much talk about it like recently on TikTok, and I don't know much about it. I just know that there's this character named Phoebe. She splurges on this vacation in Newport, Rhode Island at the Cornwall Inn, and apparently everyone who's staying at that resort or hotel at that time are guests or part of this wedding that's happening. And it says here, Phoebe is here because she's dreamed of coming for years. She hopes to shuck oysters and take sunset sails with her husband, only now she's here without him, at rock bottom, and determined to have one last splurge on herself. She ends up encountering the bride of the wedding that's happening, and they end up being best friends, and they like confide in each other and basically change the outcome of their lives. I don't know. That's what I heard. The second last book in this book haul is The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. I hate this. There was a sticker on here and I tried to get it off. It wasn't those stickers that came off easily. This one left like the sticky residue and now I can't get it off. That's so annoying because this book is so pretty. This one is about a lost bookshop. It says in the back, on a quiet street in Dublin, a lost bookstore is waiting to be found. For too long, Opaline, Martha, and Henry have been the side characters in their own lives. But when a vanishing bookstore casts its spell, these three unsuspecting strangers will discover that their own stories are every bit as extraordinary as the ones found in the pages of their beloved books. Oh my god. Should drink some water. By unlocking the secrets of the shelves, they find themselves transported to a world of wonder where nothing is as it seems. And the last book is actually a fantasy. I forgot to include it with the rest of the fantasy books that I got, but that is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Have you heard of this one? I'm sure you've had because it was all over my TikTok For You page. I actually don't know what this is about. Oh my god, this is a long book. It's over 600 pages, but I'm excited, and that brings us to the end of this book haul. I feel like my mouth is very dry. I feel so parched. Where's my water bottle? Where is it? These are all the books that I got. I'm so excited. It just brings me happiness. If you're still here at this point of this video, comment the vampire emoji. Any of these, there's like 3 emojis, but comment any of them because I'm so excited to read the Twilight series. Thank you so much again for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.